Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Happy Wednesday. Another sunny, hot day in Florida. We've been kind of treating our August the way that we treated our February in Pennsylvania, kind of only going outside when we absolutely have to. We're dog sitting for my son, so I've been outside a little more than I would like to, and he doesn't even want to be outside for too long. He's has his tongue hanging out all the time like he's dying. So, but from what I hear, it's hot everywhere for the most part. I had a really nice day yesterday. One of my Hair Color Secrets Insider members reached out to me and she said, I'm going to see my sister in Florida and I would love to do a one-on-one with you. It's something I've always wanted to do. And I said, sure, I'm around, let's do it. So she came 2 hours out of her way. She flew into Orlando Airport, drove 2 hours to get to me, and then had another 3 hours to get to her sister. So that is extreme dedication. And that's exactly something that I would do to go see someone that I wanted to take education with. So when I hear people with the excuses they come up with when I offer something, it's like, oh, I'm busy that day, or oh, I have work, or oh, I don't have the money, or I don't have the time. And then they're staying in their mess and doing the same thing over and over again. And then every once in a while, when I throw out 6 figures for a salary, they're like, oh, yeah, right. I am so far from that. That's never going to happen. I'm like, yeah, because you keep making excuses. So she comes from a very small town in Texas. It's not like she travels all the time and it was no big deal. It was a big deal. She had to rent a rental car and, like I said, drive 2 hours to me. And then after she left here around 4:30. She was still going to have a 3-hour plus ride to her sister. But she said it was awesome and exactly what she needed. And we both ended the class on a high note because for me, to see that I can help someone in such a short time, our class was only 2 hours long, but we got right down to business as soon as she got here. And we talked about what she personally is struggling with, not what she saw on TikTok or YouTube or any of those places. She was like, I did your course. I learned so much. I wasn't even doing color before I took your course. I was hiding and doing haircuts and not really confident in color. And I'm so much more confident, but I still have my foils slipping and bleeding. And I don't know why. I need to get to the bottom of it. I said, easy peasy. We'll be done that in 30 minutes. So I had a doll head set up for her on a tripod. And I said, first, I want to watch you mix your lightener. Show me how you mix. So we talked about, thicker is quicker. Don't make it too loose. Don't keep adding developer because it actually slows down your lightener. All of those things were reminders. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're right. So her mixing was part of her issue. Then the next thing was I had a mannequin who has had tragic things done to her. And I said, first, let's work on her. And I just want to see you just pretend I'm not here and just section and do one piece of a foil. So she did it, and another thing that she was doing that was causing slipping was she was taking the hair to the limit of the foil, like all the way from here to here. You want to center the hair in the middle of the foil so that you have room on both sides so it's not being pinched into the center. So that was another issue that was causing her foils to pull down. The third thing was she was second guessing herself with saturation. She was starting at the root and saturating it well, then bringing the brush down and then dipping it in her bowl and starting from the mids and adding to the ends. But she was overworking and doing this to the foil where she was, moving it a lot. So when she's doing this, she's moving it from the base. So you don't want to rock and roll and move your foils around. You want to keep it steady at the regrowth. If you do that a lot and you're an overworker, try using a board, a highlighting board. You can get a piece of acrylic on Amazon. You don't have to get I think it's the Blonde Chronicles is selling them for like $30. You can get one for $7 on Amazon. I have every color. And you just slide it under your foil and you're able to put that If you're going to be pushing and really oversaturating, you can put the weight of the board behind you. I use what I call my creepy hand. If you're one of my students, that you're going to laugh at that because you know I talk about the creepy hand all the time. You want to make it really stiff like your own personal board. So I use my hand underneath and keep it stiff so that I have that support. So those three things within 15 minutes of her being here changed her game on her foils. She's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it was that simple. So do you have to fly to Florida to see me? Absolutely not. We can do that virtually. Sometimes we can do it in a 30-minute conversation. Other times we need to do a hands-on, but these are all the things that I offer that I think most people don't even know about. You know, that's the beauty of what I do as a brand-free educator is my schedule is very flexible. I have members that I work with virtually one-on-one. I have non-members that I work with virtually one-on-one. I do it all because I love it all. I just actually right before I got on here, I was watching I belong to an amazing, supportive community here in St. Pete Beach that I found 2 years into moving here, and it's been my rock and my savior. I've met so many amazing women. So if you're not meeting people and you're lonely like I was and you're just frustrated, look on Facebook for local groups in your community. This happens to be a group of entrepreneurial females. So talk about your people. It's all women who have their own business, who have the same personality that I do. It's like work, work, work. What's next? And we meet for coffee every Friday morning. I have decaf. I have not fallen off the wagon. But it's amazing. I'm going to an event on Monday on using your human design, which if you've never heard of human design, I heard of it maybe 2 years ago. My friend Alice Wilcox, who's one of us, she's a hairdresser. She does human design trainings and she'll figure out your human design and teach you what it's all about. It has been such a game changer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask Alice to come back on another coffee chat and talk about human design, and maybe she'll do some people's while we're on there. But it's so interesting because the very things about my personality that I had always thought were annoying to people, I'm a should'er. I should all over people. So if someone says, oh, I said, oh my gosh, you should. And I give them what I think they should do. They didn't ask me. They were just venting. So I'm bossy when it comes to trying to help people. And I thought, God, I have to stop doing that. That's really annoying and I'm not going to have any friends. So I stopped doing it. And then Alice did my human design and she said, Elaine, people come into your life at a time when they need you to be the boss of what they should do. They need coaching. They need help. They need that push. That's your gift. That's like the whole highlight of your chart is that people come into your life. You show up for them when they need you most. And I was like, oh my gosh, that feels so much better because I really do love helping people. You know, when I'm out somewhere and I hear somebody saying, oh, we have no idea where to go for dinner tonight. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to try blah, 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 because we thought this place was going to be great. It was terrible. Make sure you go here. Make sure you order this. Totally bossy to strangers all the time. But apparently that's what God put me on this planet to do. And then I thought about it. When Alice said that, I looked back and I was like, oh my gosh, I met this girl when she was like ready to give up her salon business. She was at her worst. She was so depressed. She didn't know what to do. We had a couple conversations, which led to me connecting her to my life coach. She connected to my life coach. She has expanded. She hired like 6 more hairdressers, started a second business within her business. She's did a boutique within her business. She is soaring. And we got together when she was at her worst. So I could name 5 other situations where people came into my life like that, you know, and have totally changed as a result of it. So I am embracing all of my gifts of human design. So when you do get your chart done, which I highly recommend it, I can actually, after this, share a site. Actually, let me see if I can find it now. I might be able to grab the link because it's a very easy, you know, you answer a couple questions and it tells you what your human design is, and you have a chart. It's a crazy looking chart where it almost looks like a skeleton with all the different parts of your body. Sorry, this is running slow because I'm already on Facebook. Hang on. I was just watching it right before I got on here. And she's really well versed in human design. Like she can just rattle off what everybody's thing is just in hearing what their numbers are. I'm a 1-3 manifesting generator. Of course, it's not coming up. I don't want to waste a lot of time looking for this, but I will find it and I will share it in the comments. Because I'm probably looking very cross-eyed right now, looking at another part of my, why did that go away? It was like at the top of the, that's annoying. Now I know why you guys can't find my coffee chats on replay, because you think that they're going to be at the top of the, here we go, at the top of the page, but that is not necessarily true. You can, however, come on my page and there's like a little magnifier glass search button that you can type in a topic and it should take you right to that actual thing. Oh my goodness, of course I have to go down this hall. Here we go. Let's copy this. Copy. Hopefully that works. That link that I just shared. Somebody tell me if you can see that link. It's like jovial something or something. Anybody on here? Help a sister out. By the time I bring it up on my phone, you guys will be off here. Jovian Archive. My podcast is Ask the Color Expert, and it's everywhere that there's podcasts, Misty. iTunes, Anchor, anywhere that you would listen to a podcast, just go to iTunes and type in Ask the Color Expert. Okay, good. So Danielle, do your chart. It's really interesting. And then if you want more information and you want to have somebody talk you through it, reach out to Alice. Let me tag Alice in this coffee chat so that she can answer questions. Oh, where did that just go? Alice. Every time I hit the @ it goes away. Here she is, Alice Wilcox. So that is Alice's Facebook. If you have any questions, you want to click on that and she will be happy to do a chat with you. Sometimes she goes live on her page and she'll just say, does anybody want to chat about their human design? But it's super, super interesting. So if you're having a career crisis, like I've had many times in my 36-year career, and you're like, I just feel like I'm meant for more, or I need a new direction, or I need to change something, having that human design chart done. I love it. As you know, if you follow this coffee chat, you know I love astrology. I love tarot cards. I also human design. I also got something done called astrocartography, which I had not heard of up until I think it was Christmas of last year. I got my own chart done. Then I got it done for both of my kids and my girlfriend as a gift. And what it does is it takes the time, year, and place of your birth, and it charts it on the whole entire world, and it shows you all the places you're meant to travel. It'll be your soul place where you'll just be lit up when you're there. My number one is Lisbon, Portugal. So I plan on, if the world is good to me and there's nothing tragic that happens as far as pandemics or anything that would not allow me to do so, I plan on. My kids are 28 and 24, right? Yeah, 24 and 28. So they don't need another sweater. They don't need another pair of sneakers. They don't need the typical Christmas gifts. So we made a pact. We went to Utah last year and had a blast. We absolutely loved that trip. And I said, guys, you're not getting any younger. You're going to be getting married. You're not going to want to travel with your mom. We are going to do this every year for Christmas. We're not buying any gifts. We're not buying any wrapping paper. We're not running around like lunatics buying for each other. We're going on a trip together, and we're going to agree on it together, and we're going to go have fun. So this year for Christmas, they will get the you're going on a trip gift, we'll get together. Of course, we'll spend time together, but we won't do gifts. And then we're planning to go in May to Portugal. So I'm very excited about that. So I highly recommend it to all of you to replace gifts with experiences, especially with your children or your significant others. You can't get back time. You can always buy a pair of sneakers. You can always buy perfume. You can always buy all the crap that we run around buying at Christmas just to hand people something. And I think if you handed them a very well-written, handwritten card and said, hey, I love you and I want to give you a gift, but the gift I want to give you is my time. So let's go to that museum that we've always talked about, or let's go to that, special flea market that comes to town only once a year, or let's go to high tea at the Ritz-Carlton. Use something really goofy and special that you've never done. That will be a memory that will last forever. I always did that with my staff. I loved giving out cash bonuses. Who doesn't want a cash bonus? But then I was like, we didn't spend any time together. So I started making the cash bonus a little bit less and did, a limo ride to a show in New York, or, a limo ride to the Wella studio to have a class. I tried to make it an experience. And when I look back on my very fun, awesome career, all the highlights were the times that we spent together as a team, doing team building things, which brings me to what I talk about every week is my retreat. If you haven't made the decision yet, I promise you, you will not regret coming. It's starting to fill up. The hotel, I just had to ask them to add more rooms because people want to stay right on property, and it is going to be really special. So instead of getting that $7 Starbucks every day for the next couple months, you could fund your entire retreat payment. So you can share a room with someone, come with someone else, share a room. If you share a room, it's literally $70 a night to stay at a hotel that's brand new looking at the ocean. So make it happen. Don't spend money on the Starbucks. Don't order out for lunch every single day. Don't go out to dinner 3 times a week. Make small sacrifices to have a 2-day event completely re-inspire you. We've been through the worst 2 years that all of us have ever been through. Well, I can't say ever because people have a lot of tragedies happen, but collectively the world was just in timeout. So I'm having fun with the theme of the retreat, and we're going to do some fun things around the timeout because I think we all need an adult timeout. We need to be put in that chair and forced to relax and be spoon-fed some really inspirational, great information on moving forward, how we can handle crazy experiences like that. Like no one was mentally prepared for that. No one. So if you don't seek out regular therapy, if you don't have a therapist, or if you don't have anybody to talk to and unload that, that is all stored in your body right now. So if you're all of a sudden getting a pain in your shoulder, like for me, I had the torn rotator cuff and tennis elbow so bad I could barely use my arm. And I did some work with the kind of things we're going to be talking about at the retreat. Not at a doctor, no medicine, no surgery. My shoulder is completely fine. And I was on the books to have a surgery. So I have my mom actually working with one of the women right now because she's in a lot of pain. And the pain is my dad died. So of course she's going to have physical pain because she didn't know what to do with all the grief. So when you don't know what to do with what happened during COVID, being terrified of not having enough money to pay your bills. We've never been told that we can't do hair. So we had no income. And then thank God the government was like, okay, we can't tell hairdressers they can't work and then them have no money. So then they started to do the PPP and the PPE and all that stuff. And God bless Bryn Travis. She handled all of that because I would have had a nervous breakdown. She did all of that for our staff. She made sure everybody was okay. She did an amazing job, and the salon is thriving. Before, during, and after COVID, it's thriving because she is paying attention and she's doing what she needs to do. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take on to be in charge of people's emotions and their paycheck. If you're an owner, it's a lot. If you're a stylist, listening to your negative Nelly neighbor who just keeps bitching and moaning and bitching and moaning and all day, that energy is filling your body, whether you know it or not. Remember the distance from COVID? That's the distance that you're getting other people's energy. Did you ever walk into a store and you're instantly anxious and pissed off because somebody just walked by you in a huff. They're like pushing the door open and you're just like, whoa. And all of a sudden you feel like you have a thorn up your butt, you know? And you're like, now I'm grumpy. Like that really made me grumpy. They pushed that door and they almost knocked me out. Or if someone cut you off in traffic. So these are the things that it took me until 50 years old to figure out, because when you hit 50, the shit hits the fan and you're like, is this it? Is this what I just worked so hard for to get to? Like, this really sucks. There's no fun anymore. I'm not having any fun. And you start to seek out different modalities, different authors, different self-help books. I talk about it all the time on this coffee chat. I have an entire shelf filled with rah-rah inspirational books. And sometimes you're so down, you can't even read a book. You can't even take in what the book says. So I have handpicked the people that are coming to this retreat for a reason, for exactly what we all need. What I've gotten to fill up my cup in the last year is what I'm now sharing with you. And yes, we're going to talk about hair color. I have my genius colorists, Ian McCabe and Alicia O'Hare, that are going to be sharing color, of course. Color, they're going to show the whole entire process, but intermixed with color is going to be all of this work with energy and self-care and giving yourself a much well-deserved time out. And of course, cocktails. So it's a little bit of everything, and it's a write-off, guys. I don't want to hear, I don't have the money, I can't afford it. You've probably gone to, 20 other things that you walked out of the hair show and you're like, what the hell was that? I don't even know what I learned. I know I got away, but now I feel behind. I'm going back to the salon and my clients are going to ask me what I learned, and I don't even know. I don't even know what just happened. I know the guy that they did the haircut on was hot. That's all I know. But I don't remember any of the steps. I don't remember anything because it was too much. Some of the shows, I talked about it last week. They have 4 presenters at the same time. So you start watching this person, you're like, oh, wow. And then this person starts talking. And then you move your attention over here. And if you're ADD like me, that is a shit show. I'm just like, who am I watching? What am I doing? And what just happened? And then I just come out more confused. I know I had fun. I know the music was great, but I don't really have anything tangible that I can use. So it's important to me when I host an event to take the pulse of what's going on with everyone and say, like, what do you need right now? And what I found that people need, it was not for me to do a revival again, which was awesome. We did it for 2 years. I probably will do it again. But this year, I was like, no, I need to use those 2 days to get some people in person and give them the biggest hug and have everybody be in community with each other, laughing, sharing experiences. One of the best shows I've ever been to, I got the most out of the lunch table. We were all together in small groups at round tables at lunch, and that's what we're going to be doing at the retreat. If you're doing the VIP ticket, you're going to be able to sit with the educators at lunch and ask them any questions you want. I don't know about you, but I've never gone to an event that gave me that ability. I always leave with like 20 questions that I would sit there and raise my hand and they would never call on me. And then I would get in the line afterwards to ask them a question. And as soon as it would get to me, they'd say, okay, guys, we have to get on to the next presenter. We have to break this up. So I would leave with all these questions on my heart that would have made a lot of sense if I could figure them out. So I wanted to make sure that all of that is part of the event. Danielle said, I'm never mentally prepared for anything. Danielle, I'm telling you, girl, I got you. I've been there. I've lived your life. I can tell what's going to happen to you before it even happens because you are a much younger, more energetic version of me. And I've been there, done that. I've had 2 salons at one point at the same time. 2 at the same time, and not anymore because it was a lot. And nobody ever offers help with that. You have your business coaches where they're like, know your numbers, do spreadsheets. But the emotional piece is never cared for. You're never asked, are you okay? What can I help you with? And that's why I do that as a hair color coach. I check in, how's it going? If somebody reaches out and says, what do I do about this? And we walk all through it, I reach out and say, how did that go? Let me see the results. How do you feel about what you did? What would you do differently? It's completely different type of education because I've been to all of it. So I know what I like, what I didn't like, and what was effective. And I can say with 100% certainty that Leslie that was here yesterday is going home a completely different foiler. And she got all of the aha moments in the first 15 minutes of what we did. So I sent her home with her doll head. I said, I want you to go through the head, see where your placement was, see what you may do differently. You know, maybe you want to do a root shadow after, maybe you want to do a color melt. Take this head home and do 3 more things to her. Don't just leave her the way that she is. The best class that you ever could give yourself is to do swatches. You know, take the color and do the swatches, and try on different glazes. And who's saying they have too much going on? Let me see. The comment just moved down and went away. Somebody said they have too much going on. You're always going to have too much going on. And it's a Tammy. Tammy says she has too much going on. You have too much going on because you didn't get the tools on how to say no to the things that really don't matter. And I know you are really great with education and that you show up for everything. So I know you probably have a really good excuse because you have the best luck in the world and you won like every single class at the Wilson's event. So I know you have a lot going on. So if you're on the fence, you know, just really think about it because we are going to cap it at 50. I'm putting the link in now, solutions.com. You will regret it more if you did not come than if you did come. That is a promise. You'll be like, oh, why didn't I go? This is going to be something that, you know, I can't say I'm going to do the exact same thing again because once you do your human design and you see what a manifesting generator is, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. I tell my husband all the time, he is the only forever thing in my life. Like he has been in my life for, my gosh, 34 years we've been together. So 34 years, he is a constant, nothing else is. You know, we've moved houses, I've changed from one salon to another, remodeled the salon, moved to Florida, sold the house, you know, started a new business at 52 years old. Like everything constantly changes. He's still here. So that says a lot about his patience and our relationship, that he is the one thing I haven't said, oh, I'm bored, I'm moving on, because it's easy to do that. Marriage is hard. But sometimes you just have to stick with things, and you don't go by what the Hollywood version of what marriage looks like, I think is why divorce is so common. It's never like that, no matter what. So you do the best you can. You make sure you have a date night and put each other first as much as possible. And I think we work because we're so opposite. I always refer to us as the brick and the balloon. Oh my gosh, we have to do this, and da 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 da, and we'll just take a loan, and blah blah blah. And he's like, absolutely not. You're going to break us. We're going to be out on the street, you know, sleeping on a vent if it's up to you. So we balance each other out pretty well, and it works. So we also sleep in separate beds. I've shared that before, and people are like, oh my gosh, are you guys okay? I'm like, yeah. We are more than okay. We are great, because he doesn't wake me up snoring all night anymore. So we are more than okay. I just saw a question about a time, and I'm trying to go back. Misty's talking about airplane tickets being high. Make sure, first of all, use Google Flights. Just type into your search bar Google Flights, and Google will search for you. Do that first. Then if you're still not getting the price that you want, do it one way, going from Oregon to Tampa, and then do it Tampa to Oregon separate. A lot of times it's way cheaper that way. That's a hint, because I fly a lot, and my son taught me how to do that. So definitely check that out. I don't know where that question went. It was something about time. So I apologize if I didn't get to it. It moved down, and now I can't find it. So thank you for listening today. I hope that you will check out your human design chart. If you need help with anything, we can talk about it one-on-one virtually. If you're not nearby, if you're nearby, I'd love to have coffee and help you in person. The next launch for the Hair Color Secrets Insider membership is November, so that'll be here before you know it. So if you're interested in joining that, that is a great resource where you have tons and tons of information and coaching from me. as well as my friends in the industry that I love to bring into the membership as well. So have a great rest of your week. Enjoy today, and I will see you next week.